want to build a snowman.
We are the Church of the Larger Fellowship, the Unitarian Universalist congregation with no geographical boundaries. We believe in cultivating curiosity and transformation that is rooted in profound love.
For over 85 years, the ministries of the Church of the Larger Fellowship have circled the globe and crossed the walls of prisons. We are a spiritual lifeline for our over 2,000 members in prison, who are also connected to individual Unitarian Universalists through our letter writing ministry.
In our online community, we offer weekly worship, classes, and groups. Our monthly magazine, Quest, supports the spiritual lives of thousands around the globe. We know better than anyone how deep and meaningful connections can be formed even from a distance.
We are proud to be a leader in this faith movement, and we invite you to get involved in our ministry. We strive to be a place where anyone from anywhere can find spiritual refuge anytime they need it. Welcome to the Church of the Larger Fellowship.
We are so excited to bring you an all-new episode of the Voices of Unitarian Universalism, known affectionately as The View.
The View is a weekly Unitarian Universalist talk show discussing important faith-based topics from an anti-racist, anti-oppressive, and multicultural perspective.
Since 2013, we have gathered every Thursday from September to June to welcome guests from around the world.
Our guests are writers, scholars, activists, and religious thought leaders who are shaping Unitarian Universalism and society for the 21st century and beyond.
We hope that today's show inspires you. We hope it builds your faith and gives you perspective to see the power of Unitarian Universalism at work in your life.
Welcome to The View.
Welcome, welcome. Hello. It is so nice to be here with all of our hosts for a host roundtable here on the Voices of Unitarian Universalism. Oh, it is good. It is good to see all of your faces. I am looking forward to hearing your voices as well. And welcome to our View superfans who are here live already. I see the numbers are ticking up in our chat. I'm the Reverend Dr. Michael Tino. My pronouns are they and them. I'm coming to you from the land of the Kitchewan, Wappinger, and Munsee Lenape peoples, known by white folks as Peekskill, New York, a little bit north of New York City, up the Hudson River. And it is a glorious, glorious, perfect, beautiful spring day. If you remember last week when I bemoaned the fact that we were either getting 50 degrees and raining or 90 degrees and sunny, and I said, can I fucking just have 170 degree day, 12:03 p.m. It is 72 degrees and sunny here in New York. It is actual spring weather on May the 28th, the year of Audrey Lord, 2026. And blessings to Gaia on and to all the spirits who have conspired to give us this perfect day here in New York, in the Hudson Valley of New York. Dante Hilliard, how are you in the land of the Council of Three Fires?
Reverend Michael Dr. Tino, I'm doing really well. I am here in the land of the Council of Three Fires, also known as Chicago, Illinois, the most beautiful city in the contiguous United States, as far as I'm concerned.
Chicago is pretty beautiful.
It is.
Aisha lives in Seattle. So we're clear. I'm not even putting my city on that list because I've been to both Chicago and
I'll put any city in Maine except maybe Rumford up against any other.
So, okay.
I interrupt you, Dante. You're in the most beautiful place in the contiguous.
But yeah, so it's beautiful. There's a lot of construction going on around me, so my nerves are kind of raw, but that's fine. And we are coming into our blue moon weekend. This is our second full moon of this month, ruled by Pluto. So if you have been telling hidden truths over this last month, or people have been telling you hidden truths, there's that is not a coincidence, because the heavens are a telling, and all that's hid is not going to stay hidden. So this weekend we're in for a treat, because we're in the last days as we come into this blue moon. So those of us who follow the moon, y'all know, buckle up, Buttercup. We're about to have a good time. Aisha Hauser, what's going on?
I got the phases of the moon tattooed on my arm with a Luna moth. So I am obsessed with the moon. Thank you, Reverend Dante, Dr. Hilliard. I missed you all. I've been away back to Jersey. I'm Aisha Hauser. I currently live in Seattle, Washington, which is the most beautiful place I've ever lived. And I have lived in Maine. And Maine is gorgeous. It's a close second, but Seattle beats it. When it's sunny and you have the Olympics on one side and the Cascades on the other and Rainier. Listen. So I was in Jersey, where I was not the loudest person in the room. It was so great. I was with people. I was at a wedding. I went to a Jersey Italian Desi wedding, Indian. And it was 2 nights, 2 ceremonies, this whole thing. And I was sitting at a table with like out of central casting of The Sopranos. And this one guy's like, "Where you live?" I said, "Seattle." He's like, "Oh, it's like fucked up over there." I said, and I start laughing. He goes, "I'm just busting your chops." I don't know when the last time anybody said to me they're busting my chops. I almost cried with joy. It was a beautiful trip.
It's not quite as beautiful here, but you could move back.
I know. I love you. And my friends who said that, it was very sweet. I had offers to live in their mother-daughter units. Very sweet. I love you all so much. It was great. And I could tell you more about it after DC lets us know how he's doing.
Oh, hey, everybody. Well, my internet connection is unstable. And I'm like, oh, honey, that's not the least of it today. I'm Reverend DC Fortune. I don't have no doctors or nothing. And I serve our congregation at the First Universalist Church, Unitarian Universalist in Auburn, Maine, on the banks of the Androscoggin River, home so named for the people who were first here when the white colonists arrived and started killing people. Here in Maine, it is gorgeous. We got some things it might want to happen, or but yeah, and
oh no, you're cutting in and out, DC. I'm gonna jump in because I forgot to say
connection
my
lost.
weather report.
What am I supposed to be? What connection? What?
You were talking about the weather. That's what I heard.
Oh, there we are. We're back. Awesome. Yeah. I'm apparently on. I'll be back.
Okay. In Seattle, it's sunny.
I'll be back in a minute. I gotta. Yeah, I'll be back in a minute. Give me a sec.
And I'm on the land of the Coast Salish people. Sorry. I was so excited about talking about New Jersey that I forgot to talk about how sunny it is.
We'll bind those tech demons in the name of Black Jesus.
And I will say Dante's caveat was the most beautiful city in the contiguous United States. And like, no offense to the good people of the Pine Tree State, but are there really cities in Maine? DC is frozen, so I can't even needle him.
Not like, listen, I've lived in Maine too. Not like Chicago or Seattle.
The Maine coast is phenomenally beautiful.
Phenomenal. It's the best coast. So can I talk about this wedding before DC, as we're waiting for DC to come back?
Yes, please.
Okay. So it was a Jersey Italian marrying into a Desi, which is Indian, wedding. So I wore a sari for the first time. Thank you, Tuli. I wore a salwar kamisa, which is a different outfit that was so comfortable. I'm never going to a formal event without a salwar kamisa because it felt like wearing the most beautiful pajamas, but I was super comfortable. And I say that with respect. It was wonderful. The food was Italian and Indian and so freaking delicious. And have you ever heard of a sangeet? A sangeet is a dance party. So we went, that was the first night. The second night was the reception. So the sangeet, there were choreographed dances like Bollywood. It was, and then we danced the tarantella. And I literally walked around. So you all know I don't turn this off. I'm like, this is how we defeat fascism. This is how we defeat fascism at these people's wedding. It was great.
It is pretty much how we defeat fascism. And I will say, coming from a New York Italian family, that I was visiting my parents this weekend, and when Mom wasn't cooking, we ordered Indian food. So like I'm totally there with the combination of Italian and Indian. Like that sounds like digestive heaven to me.
And we got to see each other, Michael, in person at the beginning of my time away at Karishma, Reverend Karishma Gottfried. We will have to invite them on the view, their ordination, and that was glorious.
Mm-hmm. So I will say, Tisha says that they need a Church of the Larger Fellowship T-shirt, and I will say anybody can order one from clfuu.org/merch. You can get Church of the Larger Fellowship T-shirts in light print on dark colors or dark print on light colors, and you can also get your
Evil Never Sleeps, but the Righteous Need a Nap.
Dante Hilliard T-shirt, and you can get that in neon melon or neon pink or any of a whole sort of. I tried to pick not only colors that were pretty, but that the widest variety of sizes were available in. Because different colors have different sizes available. Right. So I tried like the ones that go to like 5X and 6X. I tried to make sure that all of our clothing was available in the widest variety of sizes possible, because we want CLF merchandise on all bodies.
Yeah. Okay.
You got that in Leilani and I have the neon melon. And so I do want to say, now that we have like a bunch of folks here live, if you are a View superfan, when we come back for season 14, we are coming back to episode number 500 of the
That's
View.
Crazy.
And we decided as we were coming on the air today that we want to dedicate episode 500 on September 10th to our super fans. So if you have always wanted to be on The View, let us know. There'll be a link to a form to fill out. We might not be able to get you all on because there's only so many people we can invite into this format. But we want to come back for season 14 in September, episode 500. With you all, our super fans. So and Heather Gatland writes, Church of the Larger Sizes. Amen.
I love it. That's awesome.
You Fat Liberation sticker. All there. So I also got a new sticker. I got a Hungry Caterpillar Eat the Rich sticker.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Oh my God, Mark Zuckerberg parked his fucking yacht in Lake Union here in Seattle, as about 1,700 or 1,800 Meta employees were laid off to pay for that fucking yacht. I want to talk about what's going on in Newark, New Jersey at Delaney Hall, the detention center. There have been protests ongoing, and the protesters have been trying to stop people from being taken out and it's gotten violent because, of course, the police and the ICE agents are attacking the protesters. So obviously we all can't be there, but if you can call, one of my friends, which I'm going to get Facebook, I don't want to name anybody online, but has been posting like who to call, and I'll go cut and paste that, and we'll put it in the chat of how to, even from afar, like we need to be a pain in the ass to everybody who is allowing this to happen in all the ways that we can, because the detention, and there's this, I mean,
Seems like I'm not the only
just,
one.
and just
You're
because
back.
You're back.
Yeah, so yeah, Dilly in Texas and our beloveds in the Texas Justice Ministry are protesting that. But you know, here, so I need to get my ass down to Delaney Hall at some point to join those protests because it's close enough to me that I should be able to do that. But you know, they pepper sprayed Senator Andy Kim.
Right? Yeah.
Like it is a whole pile of shit going on there. And the folks who are being detained are engaging in hunger strikes and things because the I mean, we're against caging anyone, and the conditions inside this private ICE detention facility are abysmal even for a prison.
Like
right?
Amnesty International should be like protesting us.
And these folks have not been convicted of anything, and not that it matters. You shouldn't be treated like that whether or not you've been convicted of something. Like they are being the conditions inside there are absolutely inhumane. So, I'm going to post this in the chat, Aisha. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's a whole bunch of links and stuff that people can. I need to get all of it. Oops.
I mean, we are basically running concentration camps.
Yeah.
Calling them detention centers.
Again. Hey, thank you, Dante. Again.
That's right.
And I honestly, I just want to throttle anybody who told me in 2000, whatever the fuck it was, 16, that I was being dramatic.
You were overreacting, DC.
Our
country wouldn't do that.
No.
It has, it is, and it will.
Right.
So there are a whole bunch of links in the show, in the Facebook and YouTube streams now about things that you can do if you can't get there. You can donate to help families of detainees, places to support the strikes. Thank you to your friend who put that together. Who I have a feeling I know who it is.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. It wasn't a public post, and they requested we cut and paste, so that's what I'm going to put it on my Facebook as well. I think this is a marathon. We're not in a sprint, and that's been true. That's been true even when we had Democratic presidents. Because again, remember, the reporter in chief was Obama. It's a relay. It's a marathon relay, whatever it is. And when Tom Homan came in, all he did was take it out of the press. Like they quietly, because it's happening here too in Seattle, they're quietly disappearing people. So it has. And then, did you hear the latest? Trump wants to punish, including Seattle, blue cities by taking away international travel. Good luck with that, buddy. Good luck with that.
Yeah. He's the one who can't travel internationally because he's a convicted rapist.
Oh, no, he can travel.
I don't know if you've heard this. He couldn't go to Don Jr.'s wedding in the Bahamas.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The Bahamas does not allow adjudicated sexual offenders to come into the Bahamas.
I thought you.
So instead, he decided to go to the press club dinner.
They did that on purpose. Don Jr. did not want to.
Well, also, He married Epstein's financier's daughter.
And speaking of things that we don't talk about, I don't know if y'all caught the news item. It's been over a week now, but like 5 cruise ships were pulling into the port of Los Angeles, and the FBI was there waiting and arrested 28 people off of those 5 cruise ships on charges related to child pornography.
Ooh.
And one of them was a Disney cruise, and some of those people who were arrested were
hell
staffers. Now they said they just used the term staffer, so they could have just been staffers of the boat. We don't know if they were actually like
not better.
But I'm just saying that news, like it was that day, and I've heard no more the conversation. It was like 5 cruise ships, 28 people arrested.
Wow.
OMG. You know, I don't know what that says about the state of the world or how much we don't give a fuck about children. I don't know. Like, what does that say? Is it just that everything is so, reality has been so skewed? Like, what's happening? I don't know. I don't know what's happening.
Okay. This is what it tells me.
I need to go run and get my popcorn, don't I?
This is what it tells me.
I am
that those who are addicted to power have no qualms about sacrificing their children to hold on to their power.
Oh, true. Absolutely true.
And if they don't care about sacrificing their children, they certainly don't care about sacrificing ours.
Well, and you know, like, yes. I'm just like, white America learned that lesson at Sandy Hook.
Yep.
Right?
That's the day my view of this country changed. And the day after that, yeah.
And I use that phrasing deliberately, that white America learned it.
Yep.
Because BIPOC America knew.
Oh yeah.
Right. So
but what I wasn't clear until Sandy Hook was, I was like, oh, they don't care about sacrificing their own kids.
No.
Oh.
Never have.
And that's when I was like, oh, this is much deeper. This power addiction shit is much deeper.
And Leilani reminds us that children have always been.
Okay, it was San Diego, not LA. Okay, thanks, Heather, for correction.
So,
still, you know, for those of us on the East Coast, it's a random Southern California big city. They have palm trees.
I mean, I'm in Seattle. It's the same for me, DC.
Right? Yeah, you get it. I don't know. The weather's nice down there. Whatever.
We love you, Southern Californians. We love you.
We love you, Nicole, who's in LA.
San Diego and LA.
We do. We have good friends in each place. You know, I feel
my very hungry caterpillar sticker comes from San Diego.
Oh, is that where you got that? I want. Okay. Now, I was so like, my cup is full being at this wedding. I was able to visit some folks at Shelter Rock where Reverend Dr. Natalie Fenimore's life will be celebrated this Saturday. Unfortunately, I won't be there because I'm part of an ordination in California, but it was very like, I got to be in her office and I got to feel her presence. And then I spent time with family. I got to see Michael. I went to an ordination. I went to this wedding and being like connected with folks who I don't see that often just reminded me, like, this is what we're here for. We're here to connect and love each other, not to destroy, not to exploit. And like, I guess, and I'm seeing on Facebook how many beloveds have lost their jobs, are being laid off, are like, you know, and we don't have a social safety net that can hold folks. So what do we do? I mean, I'm like, okay, reality. I mean, not that I've never been far. Again, I'm walking around this wedding saying this is how we defeat fascism. And how do we keep the faith? How do we And because then I saw what happened to the members of the flotilla. The Global Samud Flotilla was another series of boats. This is,
Right.
I don't know, third or fourth time. They were the brutality against them as they get intercepted by Israeli forces gets just they were sexually assaulted. They were beaten. The sister of the president of Ireland. Many countries were represented by people who wanted to just bring food and formula to the people in Gaza. And Israel can act with impunity. Ben Gvir was out, one of the people in the government, brutalizing, and nothing's. And so there's a duality of I was feeling so good. I mean, and then looking at this, going, why aren't we stopping this? I don't know.
It's hard, and the world is a lot, and it has been, and it is, and it will be, and we do need connection, and we do need joy, and we do need wonder, and it's part of what we're going to be talking about in worship on Sunday. So don't make me give my sermon in advance like you did last week, Dante. We need it to resist, to keep going in the face of like the tsunami of horror.
Yeah.
That our world is inundating us with. Why aren't we stopping it? Is lots of good people are trying really hard, and the forces of entrenched power are entrenched.
Never sleep.
Yeah, and I mean,
sleep.
But we have to remember again. I always say that, you know, as I was raised, we say the devil only got 3 tricks. Like it's only like 3 tricks that has been used over and over again: divide and conquer, scarcity, fear. Like it's only about 3 tricks, but somehow we keep forgetting.
Yeah.
Just because the trick got on a new outfit, it's still the same trick, right? And so, all of this terror and violence is made to scare us out of faith, out of hope, and out of relationship. So that, because if we love ourselves, love our neighbors, and invest in our joy and our happiness and our thriving, this system cannot stand. It can't.
Yeah.
Because we will all divest from it, or too many of us will divest from it.
Right,
but,
right.
You know, as I said last Sunday, you know, we live in the upside down like Alice in Wonderland. You know, sometimes I feel like when things like this happen, we get so fixated on how do I stop this? But I don't think we get as fixated on how do I uproot that inside of me.
Oh, shit. Damn.
Because I actually can control that part. Like so I may not be able to stop that particular thing from happening, but I can uproot the part of that shit that lives in me. I can deal with that.
I have a theory that all of this bullshit that we're so horrified by has always been. We just now have media. We have people with cell phones who are recording and documenting and sharing. Children have always been consumed. People of color have always been consumed by those who could, because they want to. And, you know, and now we're seeing it.
And I also don't want to ignore the fact that there is resistance.
Yes.
Because, right, that flotilla, there will be another flotilla.
Yeah.
Right.
And another flotilla. And like next time it might be the president of Ireland and not the president of Ireland's sister.
Right.
She's badass enough. She just might.
Right?
And she comes out 4 languages too. I like that.
and there will continue to be resistance. I live across the river from where ICE is trying to build another detention center, a warehouse, a concentration camp warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to do it next to an airport, so they can an airport with a gigantic runway, so they can fly people into Newburgh, New York, and not other airports. The tiny airport with a gigantic runway, right? And the people of that county have organized such an effective resistance that ICE had to give up one of their plans already.
Yeah.
They will not let them build. Right? So, next we get Delaney Hall shut down, right? Like there is resistance, and in some places it is effective.
Yeah.
You can eat an elephant one bite at a time.
The Alabama, the federal court system in Alabama struck down Alabama's new attempt at gerrymandering.
That's right. I saw that.
A panel of 3 federal judges, 2 of whom were appointed by the hate pumpkin himself, right, were unanimous, right?
Yeah.
The 3 federal judges were unanimous that even given the Supreme Court's gutting of the Voting Rights Act, the Alabama gerrymander still failed what the Supreme Court left behind.
Yeah.
Right? There is resistance. People are organizing to stop it. Louisiana voters rejected the constitutional amendment in Louisiana that would have allowed a majority white suburb of Baton Rouge to separate out their school system
and siphon funding
and suck out all the funding from the Rouge, the majority black Baton Rouge system. The voters of Louisiana rejected that 65 to 35. Like, it wasn't even like 52, right? It was 65 to 35 that they rejected it because people have had enough.
Yeah.
Right. And our mutual friend, the Reverend Nathan Ryan, minister of the UU congregation in Baton Rouge, when I reached out to him, I said, "Congratulations on getting this to fail." He's like, there were a whole lot of angry black people who showed up to the polls. And I'm like, well, we have to stop relying on angry black people to save our asses again and again and again. But
so a little tiny piece of good news out of Maine. This past week, Shanna Bellows, who is our Secretary of State, determined that huge numbers of signatures that were collected to get a measure on the ballot to ban trans kids from sports, that hundreds, thousands of signatures were found to be fraudulent. And the whole thing, because they were paying them by the signature to collect.
Which is fraud. And then not only did they pay them, but they also forged them. Yep.
And Shanna's like, yeah, no, it doesn't get on the ballot. No.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So there won't even be a vote, right? Trans folks in Maine don't even have to have their civil rights voted on.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it doesn't have to even go that far, right? So, the resistance is winning small victories.
Yeah.
Is there still a genocide happening in Gaza? Yes, there is. Right? Like, why aren't we fucking stopping that? People are trying.
Yeah. That's true.
And
and Reverend Michael, I would also say I think it's deeper than resistance. I think we are reaching a critical mass where people are refusing to negotiate with hostage takers and terrorists.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's supposed to be the U.S. policy, but we know that ain't true. But I think the people are saying we refuse to negotiate with hostage takers and terrorists.
I need to step away for a moment. I will be right back.
And Cuba, don't forget what's going on in Cuba. But I thank you, Rita. I agree. Rita is CLF member. I just touched base with on Monday at our theme talk. Yeah, you're right. There are, and I do know that, right? And I get stuck in sometimes I get stuck sometimes. I get so overwhelmed with anger more than anything, that the hubris of people who
That's the
think that
point.
they will always escape any kind of accountability.
Yeah, I think the world is getting closer to like pitchforks than people realize.
I mean, the thing about that, I heard somebody on the History Wizard, who I'm trying to get on The View, say a really beautiful thing about that. We can't brutalize our way to a better society. So, and
We can't take out the trash.
well, I mean, but okay, okay. So I think about, as an abolitionist, what does it look like to be angry because what's going on warrants anger?
Yes.
And build the different society that isn't simply replicating this punitive, violent system we have now. Because I don't want to replicate violence. I don't want to replicate revenge. I don't want to. That is, we can't revenge our way to a society. That's not transformation. That's simply being on the other side of the same coin, right? So that's what I've been holding the more and more. I mean, I'm so grateful to the work of Miriam Kaba and Adrienne Marie Brown and so many people who have brought the work of abolition and the idea of changing our worldviews, because I think, yes, be angry and thoughtful to transform, not simply be the other side of what's happening now. I don't want to punish. Accountability doesn't have to look like what it does now. It doesn't have to be brutal violence from us, because I think that's just replicating what's already here.
Go ahead, DC.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I mean, I don't think violence is like I don't think we're gonna like some violent uprising is going to be the answer, but we also know that there is no social transformation without upheaval. Like, some shit's going to have to fall down, and when shits fall down, it ain't going to always be pretty. Whether we're talking about a tea party in the Boston Harbor, whether we're talking about people kicking out foreign colonizers off their land, right? Like, and even with the stuff we talk about, nonviolent change strategies just depend on violence. They just depend on violence from the opposition against them. They factor in being victims of violence.
So I remember one of my earliest efforts at queer liberation stuff. I was, young and way more energy than brains and no strategy whatsoever. And but we had a demonstration on campus at the University of Maine at Farmington, and it would have been 1988 or 89-ish, back at a time when that town had the only traffic light in the county, and Franklin County had more registered handguns than Democrats. And, little me goes out there and says, we're going to have a public display of homosexual affection on the lawn of the library in Farmington, Maine. Holy cow, you'd have thought the world just turned upside down. Well, anyway, we got through it. It was fine. We had the police, whatever. A week later, I went to a larger meeting of back then it was called the Maine Lesbian Gay Political Alliance. And there were a number of people there wanted to hang me and my friends by our thumbs for causing a fuss, for doing the impolite thing, for, drawing, just making a big stink of stuff. And because they were busy trying to get something through the legislature that wasn't going to pass, but whatever. And there was a woman at the time. She was a senator, a state senator named Dale McCormick, and she stood up for me in that meeting and said, "Hold on, we need all of us in this fight. Without DC and the students, I am the most terrifying person in Augusta, in my suit and in my senatorial clothes and all that stuff." She said, "And there are times when it is really handy for me to be able to say, look, you can talk to me or I can call my friends and they'll come pick at your office and you'll have to figure out what to do with that." Right? So I learned then what my role was going to be in the revolution. And that is mostly a pain in the ass. Right? And the polite people will do the polite stuff and get the laws changed and do the compromising stuff that makes me want to throw up. And my role is kind of to be Uncle Buck. Like, do you trust me to not shave you bald in the nighttime while you sleep? Should you? Right? So the threat of upheaval, we'll call it that, maybe not violence, but upheaval, turmoil, disruption to your comfortable life is a legit tool of a peaceful resistance. You know, I'm looking at three people who do not look convinced.
No, I wanted to hear what Dante has to say too. Go ahead, Dante.
Number one, my best friend has this phrase, and I have really pulled it into my life, particularly on my last two jobs where, and she said, look, if I'm going to be uncomfortable, we all going to be uncomfortable. Like, if you're going to make my life uncomfortable, then we all about to get real uncomfortable in this mother. Like, we're gonna if I can't equal it out on the high end, then we're gonna equal it out down here. We all about to be uncomfortable. And I do think we need a certain amount of that, but I also think it's important to remember, particularly those of us who are religious leaders, who are faith leaders, ethical leaders, particularly those of us who facilitate what I would call communal rituals like worship. Part of what we get to do is to create containers of individual and communal formation and transformation on a regular basis. On a regular basis, we get to conjure the world that we want in a way that regulates our overactivated nervous systems, in a way that opens our imaginations, in a way that draws us closer to one another in ways that we probably wouldn't be if we didn't share those sacred spaces. And, you know, and as Unitarian Universalists, you know, we, again, not in any way I would call perfect, but creating a space where we don't even have to believe the same thing about God.
Right.
That's, you know how rare a space that is?
For a religion?
Like we don't even have to believe the same thing about God, and we can still say, but we can be in this journey together. We can learn and grow with and from one another. And we seek the wisdom in each other's experiences and paths, because it can all be for our good, right? And so I think we downplay the importance in that role that we play, everyone on this screen, right? As facilitators of faith formation and religious rites, or what I would call communal rituals. Because where else would people have the room, the space, or Tricia Hurst would call it the rest, to sort of unplug from the stuff that makes us like want to go take an extra dose of our anxiety medicine, and being able to say, I don't have to live in that. Yes, that shit is happening. But part of the reason that shit is happening because it's meant to keep us so fucked up energy, like
to keep us dysregulated.
yeah,
I think
but
I
we
want
can't do anything.
to clarify. Listen. I'm queen of making people uncomfortable. I
Oh,
make
we
people
know,
cry with my jokes. My
we
point is
know,
that we
love.
don't. I think the only for people who have not had to fight for survival, the only way they will work for change is through discomfort. I don't disagree with that. What I'm saying is, when I heard the history wizard say we cannot brutalize ourselves to a better society, our way to a better society, I think, you know, and he talked about they talked about the French Revolution that really was more of a failure than not. It may have beheaded the monarchs at the time, or the oligarchs of the time, but it did not fundamentally change French society or what was going on in France. They certainly didn't stop being colonizers. So what I'm saying is, the more I'm learning and embodying the idea of an abolitionist worldview, of course, we protest, stop buying things, society needs to be made uncomfortable. That's not the same as saying we're going to take up arms and start shooting people, because we won't have a better society. We will simply have a different version of what we're dealing with now. So I'm saying the rhetoric is, while sure, it could be entertaining and funny, like, again, it was something that shifted in me when I heard the history wizard. And if you're not following them, I suggest you follow them on social media, Instagram and Facebook. They are a expert in Holocaust and genocidal studies. And when they said that, I'm like, yeah. And it's not of course we have to fight, we have to protest, we have to agitate. What I'm not going to wear guillotine earrings. I'm not going to do that, because you know why? The genocide in Gaza is happening because the Israeli government has said the only way we could be safe is to murder these people, is to dehumanize the Palestinians. So that's what I'm saying. We cannot take the methods and the rhetoric and the violence of the oppressors, because we will not brutalize I'm quoting the history wizard. It's not mine, but it's something that has very much impacted.
Yeah.
And I've been thinking that because of abolition, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the master's tools will never dismantle the master's house.
But I want to ask for some nuance, a little more nuance though, because there's a difference between an offensive weapon of violence and a defensive use of violence.
Yes, but I'm saying using it as a strategy for social change has not and will not work. Like when they said French society did not fundamentally change after the beheading of the monarchs, then all you did was behead the monarchs. Yeah. You didn't change. You didn't make life better for the French peasant.
True, but the Haitian Revolution got France to leave them the fuck alone.
I mean, there.
Like, we got all of the Louisiana territory because the Haitians was like, fuck this. And if since we tried it the nice way, y'all don't believe fat meat greasy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I like, there's a part of me, I wish, it's sort of like the lesson I've learned as a person who's been bullied. At some point, you might have to knock a motherfucker on their ass.
Right.
Because you're trying to talk to them like a fellow human, just seems to keep fueling their desire to try to harm you.
Oh, I agree. Here's what I want to say. I completely agree with that. I think if we could collectively have a general strike, this shit would end tomorrow. It's not, I'm saying part of that agitation is stop spending money. If we boycotted spending money on anything, this shit would stop, because the violent extractive capitalism feeds on the capitalism part. So that's standing up to bullies and these oligarchs. And listen, I'm a fucking hypocrite. I'm not living off the grid. I pay for shit. I buy stupid shit. And I say to myself, do I need to keep buying the stupid shit? The answer is always no. And so I have to decide which stupid shit to buy, but I also am trying to have a better society. So I'm fucking stuck. I'm not stuck. But I think if we have I mean, for example, but you're not wrong. I don't think you're wrong. I'm just saying it is strategic. And how do we use what Marshall Rosenberg, who founded nonviolent communication, calls it is protective use of force. So yes, protective use of force. I agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, but it again, it's not like life. This shit is not easy. It's messy. It's nuanced. It's complicated.
Yeah.
And I think these are the kind of people on this screen and the people in our audience. These are the kind of people that I want to be trying to figure this shit out with. People who are willing to sit in the discomfort, the confusion, the nuance of it all, to say, yeah, because we could do this, but then that could happen. So are we willing for that? You know, like to really think about it. Yeah. And that's the holiness. That's the sacredness. It's not in the action, it's in the mindfulness of it all.
I remember a long time ago when I was the only woman in the sheet metal workers union in the whole state of Maine. I was the first woman accepted in the apprenticeship program for the local in Maine. I liked it. I liked the work. It was dirty and messy and hot and sweaty and gross, but it was fun because you get to make cool stuff out of metal. And I had some real knucklehead guys that worked with me. And I worked really hard to not rise to the bait. And what that did was they escalated. They escalated until I threw my hammer at somebody. And then they were like, oh, there's the line. Okay, we know where we are. In that instance, I had to speak the language that they understood. Peaceful existence, peaceful coexisting was not working with these boys. They had to know that I was willing to fight back in order to respect me as a human being. Is that the ideal answer? No.
It's also victim blaming.
Yes.
It's not your fault these people were shit. Like I don't want to victim blame either, right? Because not everybody has the fortitude, and it doesn't mean they deserve to be bullied, right?
Yeah. Because I can tell you, as a person who's dealt with a lot of people who abuse their power in my life, I've never successfully got a motherfucker up off of me without having to buck up on them.
Okay.
In some way. And I don't mean physical harm, but it might have been, oh, you're trying to push me out of this job. I'm saying, oh, I see what you're doing. And how about this? You ain't got to push me, babe. I'm gone. Peace. Like that you have to sort of let people be clear that I'm not playing this game with you, right? And sometimes that is, and I think it may be different for all of us, right? Based on the kind of traumas we carry and the kind of trauma responses. I have to say, I have really worked to try to learn how to harness the useful parts of my trauma responses. Like, because I may not be able to get rid of them all the way, but there may be a more effective and efficient way to use them. Right? So, but you know, depending on where we are in our journey and what works for us, some things may just be best, which is why we need people who do all kinds of different things, right? But you know, Martin King needed a Malcolm X and needed a Nation of Islam, so that in order for him to even get traction on his work, if there was no Nation of Islam, if there was not a Black Power movement and we wouldn't even had these laws for these motherfuckers to undo.
If there wasn't an ACT UP, if there wasn't a Queer Nation, there never would have been an HRC.
Yeah. If there wasn't an ACT UP, all these polite LGBT organizations now, y'all wouldn't even fucking exist.
Yep.
Oh, we have a visitor from Kenya with us today.
Yeah, I saw that.
Welcome. But yeah, so yeah, it's none of this is easy. None of it is simple.
No, because oppression still exists, right? So like we try everything, we're and there like we had said earlier, there are advancements, there are things that are breaking down these oppressive systems, and there are many different ways with the capacities we have that we can do what we can where we are, which I think is what we've been saying to people. And I think the hardest for me to live into an abolitionist worldview is exactly what you all have been talking about, is like, what does protective use of force look like? And who gets to do that without, if I threw a hammer in, I mean, I'm not in Maine, but let's pretend I'm in Maine and I was in the same situation you were in DC, I would have gotten fired as a woman of color. There's no universe that I would have survived that. Truly. Right. So there's also the complexity of, I would have had to have left. That's been the consequence of when I fought back in systems and jobs. So I learned, how to fight back differently.
Yeah. Well, I think for me, Asia, it was, am I willing to lose this or walk away from this shit in order to let you know that I'm not here for this? That part. Right? So I try to say, like, what, and if I'm not willing to do it, I need to ask myself, am I not willing to do it because it's against my ethics and my morals, or is it because I'm afraid to do it? And if it's because I'm afraid, then that means I need to actually consider that option more. Right? Because if I'm just afraid out of trauma response,
right,
that's not healthy, right?
I don't know. I think fear is a very reasonable response to a lot.
Absolutely. We have it for a reason. It's just we live in a world that has made us overuse.
Yeah, true that. Yeah.
Over rely.
Well, use it as control. Use fear as control.
Yeah.
And the antidote is right.
Right. And you look at what Heather said, without the ruckus about LGBTQ, there would be no pride events now. True that. Without Marsha Johnson, we wouldn't have RuPaul.
And Leilani makes a good point. Women, especially trans folks, are punished and incarcerated for self-defense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or murdered when they try to stand up for themselves.
Yep. Yeah.
So it's layers upon layers of complexity of how oppression maintains itself.
Which is why different people in the movement have to play different. This is why Black people after the election said, "Okay, white people,
here's yours.
We retired from the front line, boo, because this is actually not our fight. We're going to go over here. We're going to line dance. We're going to love each other. We're going to moisturize. And y'all go do that. Y'all handle that. We'll do this stuff over here."
Well, it is 12:58 p.m., beloveds. I think we're going to moisturize. Is a great place to end.
We out here moisturizing. We out here staying moisturized.
Beloveds, your queer and BIPOC friends will be all sorts of moisturized when we regather next week for another episode of The View. And in the meantime, continue making connections, continue forming community, continue practicing mutual aid, continue the resistance, continue the refusing.
Yes.
Continue, because it's those acts of refusing and resisting and connecting and helping each other and meeting our neighbors and humanizing each other that is.
Be a pain in the ass in whatever way brings you joy.
Right?
Amen.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. See you next week.
Thank you for joining us. Special thanks to everyone who gives generously to this ministry. It is because of you that this ministry is possible.
Visit clfuu.org/give to make a contribution.
We hope you will join us next week for another episode of the Voices